Evil continues to grow and get stronger and stronger as society gets more and more corrupted and decayed. And the most dangerous of evil is that which has the ability to penetrate the heart. The control room, the spiritual control room of the believer. أَلَا إِنَّ فِي الْجَسَدِ مُضْغَةً. Verily in the body is a morsel of flesh. إِذَا صَلَحَتْ صَلَحَ الْجَسَدُ كُلُّهُ وَإِذَا فَسَدَتْ فَسَدَ الْجَسَدُ كُلُّهُ أَلَا وَهِيَ الْقَلْبُ. He said in the body there's a morsel of flesh. If it's good and sound and rectified, the entire body is good and sound and rectified. And if that morsel of flesh is corrupted and evil, the entire body will be bad and corrupted and evil. Verily it's the heart. So from the most dangerous of evil is that which has the ability to penetrate the heart. And as we know, the Shaytan, from the ultimate goal and tactics of the Shaytan is to whisper directly into the hearts of mankind. As Allah Azza wa Jalla says, الَّذِي يُوَسْوِسُ فِي صُدُورِ النَّاسِ. The one that whispers directly into the hearts and to the breasts and chests of mankind. Allah reveals to us some of the main tactics that the Shaytan uses to try to penetrate the heart. And they all revolve around fear. The first of them is for us to fear and to be scared of his supporters and his followers. Allah Azza wa Jalla tells us in the Quran, إِنَّمَا ذَلِكُمُ الشَّيْطَانِ يُخَوِّفُ أَوْلِيَاءَهُ فَلَا تَخَافُوهُمْ وَخَافُونِ إِن كُنتُم مُؤْمِنِينَ. It's nothing more than the Shaytan causing you to fear his followers. So do not fear them and fear me if you're truly a believer. The Shaytan will whisper to one of us, to maybe to a practicing brother. He will say, look at you. Look at what you're starting to look like. Look what your garments are like. Look how often you're going to the masjid or to the sister. Look how noticeable you look as a Muslim now when you're covering your head or when you're wearing that clothing. What will the people say to you? What will the people scream at you or insult you when you're out in public? To try to get us to fear the followers of the Shaytan. And if that doesn't work, the Shaytan will try to go to the parents. Look how religious your son is becoming. Look how often he's going back and forth to the masajid. He might not be successful. What will the people say about him? Look at your daughter, look at your son. Sisters will call and say, I need advice. My father is threatening to disown me because I want to wear the hijab. Is your father Muslim? Yes, he's a Muslim. But he's telling me no hijab in my house. We don't want this attention right now. So from the main tactics of the Shaytan is to strike that fear. For us to fear his followers and the reaction of the people and to shy away. And to begin to compromise our deen. And Allah Azza wa Jalla tells us, أَلَيْسَ اللَّهُ بِكَافٍ عَبْدًا. Is not Allah sufficient for you? Is not Allah enough for you? And then what comes next? وَيُخَوِّفُونَكَ بِالَّذِينَ مِن دُونِهِ. And they try to fear, they try to scare you with everyone other than Allah. But how does the ayah begin? Is Allah not sufficient for you? As a protector, as a maintainer, as a guardian, is not Allah Azza wa Jalla enough? The second tactic of fear that the Shaytan uses to penetrate the heart is fearing poverty. الشَّيْطَانُ يَعِدُكُمُ الْفَقْرَ. Shaytan is threatening you with poverty. And then after that threat is there, and after that doubt is in the heart, what comes next? وَيَأْمُرُكُمْ بِالْفَحْشَاءِ. When we fear poverty, then he begins ordering us with evil. And what does Allah Azza wa Jalla say after that? وَاللَّهُ يَعِدُكُمْ مَغْفِرَةً مِّنْهُ وَفَضْلًا. The Shaytan will come to one of us and say, you can't leave alcohol. You can't stop selling or doing that transaction. You can't expect to be completely honest in your day-to-day life, in your business dealings, and everything that you do. You just won't make it. Who is going to cover your family? Who will pay your bills for you if you don't do this sin, or sell that, or commit this haram? So he begins to strike that fear in the heart of poverty. What will I do? I can't do anything. Allah is the most forgiving, most merciful, right? Let me just live my life now and cover my bills. And as we all know, Allah Azza wa Jalla tells us over and over in the Quran, وَمَن يَتَّقِ اللَّهِ يَجْعَلْ لَهُ مَخْرَجًا. Whoever truly fears Allah, He'll find a way out for him from every difficulty. وَيَرْزُقْهُ مِنْ حَيْثُ لَا يَحْتَسِبْ. And He provides for him for means he can never even imagine. He provides for us for means we would never even expect. But where does it begin? With the taqwa of Allah. We begin by fearing Allah and making that the basis, and then the provisions come. And then the provisions and sustenance are sent down upon us. So we have the promise of Ar-Rahman, the Maghfirah, the Fadl from Allah, and we have the promise of Shaytan. Which one of the two do we choose? The third tactic the Shaytan uses to overcome us and to penetrate the heart is to scare us into thinking we cannot leave the sin. That we cannot leave the sin. And if we leave the sin, we'll never be able to recover. Brothers and sisters, in relationships, they know what they're doing is haram. They know they shouldn't be doing it. They know they shouldn't be committing those acts, but they just can't leave it. People involved in all types of sin, Shaytan tells them, wait, you can't leave right now. You will never be able to leave this. It's okay. You will never be able to recover if you leave the haram right now. Continue doing what you're doing, but keep the sin in your life. And through that we develop habits. And we develop lifestyles of sin that we're never able to leave. For fear that we can't recover from them. We don't have the ability to leave that sin. Instead of relying upon Allah Azza wa Jal and turning to Him. But remember, Allah Azza wa Jal never puts us in a situation where the only option is haram. And by default, when something is haram, there's always a halal alternative. So we're never put in a situation where we can't leave the haram, where we absolutely need the haram in our life to live. Rather, it's up to us to make those changes and to expel the shaitan and that fear in our hearts to make the changes. And number 4, the fourth tactic of fear the shaitan strikes in the heart is the fear of leaving our friends. Their praise. We look for reputation and status in their eyes. The fear of not being able to leave them. Ya waylata, laytani lam attakhidh fulanan khalila. Woe to me! I wish I hadn't taken so and so as my friend. لَقَدْ أَضَلَّنِي عَنِ الذِّكْرِ بَعْدَ إِذْ جَاءَنِي. He misled me and misguided me from the truth after I knew the truth. I knew what the truth was, but that friend, that individual misguided me from the truth. And what does Allah Azza wa Jalla end those verses with? وَكَانَ الشَّيْطَانُ لِلْإِنسَانِ خَذُولًا. And the shaitan is an ever deserter and deceiver to mankind. So the tactic of the shaitan is to convince us that we need those people around us. That even though they bring us down, they bring out our worst side, we need them around us and we can never leave them. يَوْمَ يَفِرُّ الْمَرْءُ مِنْ أَخِيهِ. The day we will flee from our own brother and our own mother and father and our wife and our children. We will flee from everyone on the day of judgment. So if we know that from now, that we will disown everyone on that day, then why do we strive so hard to please the people? Why do we strive so hard for the sake of the people, even if it means displeasing Allah Azza wa Jalla? Dear brothers and sisters, although the plots of the shaitan could sometimes overtake us, the good thing, the good news for the believer is that Allah Azza wa Jalla tells us and reminds us, إِنَّ كَيْدَ الشَّيْطَانِ كَانَ ضَعِيفًا. The plots of the shaitan are always very weak. وَهُنَا كَانَ بِمَعْنَى الْإِسْتِمْرَارِ. Kana here means always. The plots of the shaitan were always, will be always weak forever for the right individual. They're weak because every plot from the shaitan is countered by a plot from Allah Azza wa Jalla. يَكِيدُونَ كَيْدًا وَأَكِيدُ كَيْدًا. They plot their plots and I plot my plot. And they're weak because the believer, the shaitan, is al-khannas, the one who always retreats and the one who only is able to invite. The plots of the shaitan are nothing more than an invitation, are nothing more than a whisper, and it's up to us to answer that invitation.